Hi, welcome to the Listen Up Grow podcast, your daily LGBTQ plus news podcast. I am Zach Randall-Friedman, and today is Sunday, June 14th, 2026, day 14 of Pride Month, and today the streets belong to us. Today, Hollywood shuts down for the 56th annual LA Pride Parade. Albany, New York is turning Washington Park into a Pride Festival with Grammy-nominated surprise performer. Birmingham, Alabama. Yes, Alabama is throwing one of the biggest free Pride festivals in the Deep South. And we're going to talk about what's good and what's still missing from queer streaming content this June. And we need to check in on a number that is a backdrop to every single Pride event happening today because the celebrations are real and so is the fight. So let's go. First, LA Pride, Rise with Pride in Hollywood. Hollywood streets are shutting down today for the 56th annual LA Pride Parade, kicking off at 11 a.m. on Highland Avenue at Sunset Boulevard, airing live on ABC 7 and everywhere you stream Hulu and ABC News Live. This year's theme is Rise with Pride, and the Christopher Street West Association, the nonprofit organization, the world's first permitted LGBTQ parade back in 1970, says the theme is more than a slogan, it's a responsibility. This year's celebrity Grand Marshal is Jeff Hiller. I love Jeff Hiller. He was from Somebody Somewhere with Bridget Everett. He's an Emmy winner for his portrayal of Joel on HBO's Somebody Somewhere. The man recently sold a pilot to Universal Cable Productions, and it has a project in development with Zachary Quinto, so we're going to be seeing a lot more of Jeff. The community Grand Marshal is Mia Yamamoto, a transgender Japanese-American internment cap during World War II. She served in the U.S. Army, earned multiple military awards, went to UCLA Law, and has spent decades fighting for civil rights in California. And honored as Grand Marshal is Miss Shirley Raines, the founder of Beauty to the Streets, who dedicated her life to serving unhoused residents on LA's Skid Row with meals, makeovers, hygiene kits, and showers, restoring not just basic needs, but dignity. She passed away earlier this year, and today, Hollywood carries her memory down the parade route. After the parade celebration continues with Pride Village, a free street festival on Hollywood Boulevard between Vine and Grower, running from 12:30 to 8:30 p.m., featuring live music, food trucks, community booths, and more. If you're in LA today, get out there, and if you're watching from home, let's all agree that 3 Grand Marshals this year are just the right people for some of the best choices in recent parade history. Next, David Archuleta in Albany, Capitol Pride comes home. So let's take a quick flight east because today is also a big day in New York's capital city. The Pride Center of Capital Region is hosting a 2026 Capitol Pride Parade and festivals today, Sunday, June 14th, at Albany's historic Washington Park. And the headliner is my friend, David Archuleta, the 2024 GLAAD Media Award winner from Outstanding Breakthrough Artist. The parade kicks off at 11:30 a.m., starting on State Street, carrying onto Lark Street, and concluding on Madison Avenue. The Festival of Washington Park runs till 5 p.m. For those who don't know, David Archuleta came out publicly in the LGBTQ plus community in 2021, describing himself as someone who lives with a same-sex attraction while navigating his faith. He has been open, thoughtful, and deeply human about the journey, and having him as a headliner at the Albany Parade in a city where New York's laws are made means something. And I did an interview with him not just a few weeks ago on my other podcast, Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay. He was a beautiful and nice man, and you should definitely listen to that episode. So this is community. This is what Pride headliner can look like when it's done right. Next, we go to Birmingham, Alabama, Pride in the Deep South. So let's talk about something I find genuinely moving. Pride in places where pride is harder. Today, Sunday, June 14th, Central Alabama Pride wraps up its 48th annual Pride Fest in Lynn Park in downtown Birmingham, Alabama, with a full day of food trucks, artisan vendors, health resources, a kids zone, and headlining performances by The Voice winner Asher HaVon, along with a lineup of RuPaul's Drag Race stars. Central Alabama Pride draws an estimated 40,000 plus attendees that year, and they are celebrating continued growth. Think about that. Alabama and 40,000 people, free, family friendly, in a state that has fought against LGBTQ rights at almost every legal government. The community showed up anyway. They built something beautiful anyway for the last 48 years. That's what Pride is always supposed to be, not just celebration in cities where it's easy, but visibility in places where it takes courage. Today, Birmingham is doing that, and I want to make sure we honor that. Next, what's streaming? The good, the gay, and the gap. Okay, a quick check-in on where we are with queer content this Pride Month because the streaming landscape is interesting. This June is actually is a pretty strong month for gay men and streaming. The 2 Thai BL series are landing on Netflix. A buzzy Polish drama is premiering on HBO Max, and there's a new season of Interview with a Vampire on AMC+. The Polish drama is Proud, and which we covered earlier in the week, and it's getting a lot of real traction. But according to Autostraddle, this is the worst Pride Month yet for lesbian, bisexual, queer women, and trans characters, with not a single scripted television program or movie centered on a character who identifies by any of the above. And at any point of the irony, Netflix's one gesture towards the lesbian community is a documentary about Martina Navratilova, who has made deeply transphobic statements. There's real joy in the content that's here, but I want the industry to hear this. Queer women and trans characters deserve to exist on the screen in June, not just as a sidebar, but as a real full story. So get it together, streaming. Represent all of us. Next, anti-trans bill, Pride's real backdrop. And finally, before we go, I want to say something real. Today's parades are marching in Hollywood, Albany, Birmingham, and cities across the country. There is joy everywhere, and that joy is real, and it is earned, and it's necessary. But as those parades step off, here is a number you should carry with you, 796. This is the number of bills currently under consideration across the United States that would negatively impact transgender and nonconforming people, and that number is anticipated to grow. Trans Legislation Tracker 2025 was the 6th consecutive record-breaking year for anti-trans bills considered. 679, and that's just 2026. As of right now, every float and every parade today is rolling past a political reality that is trying to erase trans people from public eye, from schools, from bathrooms, from sports, from healthcare, from military, from legal recognition. And yet, trans people are still here. They are still marching. They are still headlining and still showing up as Grand Marshals, still taking the microphone. This is not in spite of fight. This is just because of it. We march today with joy and fury, both at once. But that's what Pride is. So this is Listen Up Girl podcast for Sunday, June 14th, day 14 of Pride Month. Today, LA Pride shuts down Hollywood Boulevard, one of the best Grand Marshal lineups in years. Albany brings David Archuleta to the Capitol. Birmingham's Central Alabama Parade wraps up 48 years of showing up in a place that takes real courage. Gay men are eating well on streaming service this month, but queer women and trans characters deserve better. And 796 anti-trans bills remind us that every parade is a protest. I'm Zach Randall-Friedman. If this episode resonated with you, share it with your friends. Also, be sure to leave a review because the more reviews you leave, the more people that will see this. Thanks, and I'll be back tomorrow with more LGBTQ news for day 15 of Pride.